Hey everybody, it's Heidi Harris. How you doing? Just wanted to hop on here today and respond to something I saw the other day online, which I thought was just horrendous, and I think we should talk about it. Now, I know a lot of you expect me to talk about politics all the time and what Trump's doing and all these other things. There are plenty of people talking about that. I mean, it's not that I won't when it's appropriate, but I am so much more interested in culture, and I think if you follow me, you know that. So I saw this story the other day. I read Dear Abby. I'm not going to lie. I don't know who else does, probably a lot of people. But Dear Abby, I don't even know who writes the column anymore. Her daughter, somebody. Well, it's gotten very woke in a lot of ways. And I don't want to beat up on a columnist, but I wanted to make a point that's very important. It's important to address it culturally because a lot of young women today are being fed this lie that one of the writers into Dear Abby's column was feeding to her own grandchild. Here's how it went. Okay, Dear Abby, I have a 7-year-old great granddaughter named Emma. She's beautiful, smart, happy, and just wonderful. Her dad, my grandson, and her mother are no longer together. And we're going back to that. So stay with that. Okay. But they share custody. So, in other words, the daughter goes back and forth. Okay. Yeah. My grandson has since gotten together with baby mama number 2 and has 2 children with her. So, this child goes back and forth between 2 houses while the child has 2 siblings who get to live in the house with their actual parents every single day. Oh, and that's not all. It gets better. My grandson is trying to get full custody of her. Her mom's boyfriend is not nice to her. I wouldn't live in a house with somebody who wasn't nice to my dog, much less my child. But instead of grandma worrying about the boyfriend and the danger he may pose or anything else, she's going to teach her granddaughter that you don't need no man. Never be dependent on a man. That's the big takeaway in this situation, according to the great grandma. And Dear Abby, of course, because Dear Abby's woke up the wazoo, said this is not a one-time lesson you're going to convey. It's a lifelong process. First thing you should do is become a role model for Emma. Expose her to books and videos about women who are independent, building careers and lives for themselves rather than depending on a man. Then teach her self-respect. If you do, those lessons will last into adulthood. Okay, you get the point. So Dear Abby is encouraging this grandmother to teach her granddaughter, instead of making better choices in men, which her children clearly have not done, none of that. She's going to teach her, you don't need no man. We have a whole generation of women growing up today. It's not the first generation, but since the feminists, in my day, the feminists were pushing, you can bring home the bacon, fry it up in the pan. We can do everything. You can do everything, anything you want to do. You can have it all. You can't have it all. You can't have it all at the same time. Nobody's saying you can't go to school, do a high power career, whatever, be a mom. You can't do it all at once. Not well. Your kids can't divorce you, but your husband will. Or run off with somebody else because you're neglecting him. So going back to Dear Abby, this grandmother wants to teach the granddaughter, that you don't need no man. Instead of teaching the granddaughter how important it is to have a good, healthy relationship with a good, decent person. It's very frustrating to me to see because there are a lot of folks who have taught women that men are bad, you don't need them, they're this, they're that. And many times it's the women who didn't have a good dad who teach this to their children. And I know people like that. I had a wonderful father, so I guess I'm a little prejudiced. All of them aren't great. I know that. My dad was fabulous, and most men are wonderful and they do a great job. But we've got women now who are probably bitter from not being able to make it work with a man, who then tell other women, you don't need no man. Or women who are divorced, encouraging their friends to divorce their husbands and join them in what? The boxed wine club? It's terrible. And it's everywhere. It really is. And it's hurting young women in America. No question about it. And all over the world, it's hurting women. It's certainly in the first world countries, it's hurting people. Because at the end of the day, they realize there's something missing in their lives. Now, I am not saying for a second that you can't live a wonderful life as a single person forever. I've never said that. I wouldn't say that. But to tell girls, don't become dependent on a man, instead of telling them to look for a healthy relationship. Here are the boundaries. Here's what to look for in a man. Here's what you should avoid. If the guy's doing this, that's not the guy you marry. If the guy's doing that, that's not the guy you marry. Look for character, but nobody cares about character anymore. Women don't care about character anymore. They care how tall he is. They care about how much money he makes. They don't care about what really matters. They don't care about the things that are not to be taken away from him. Is he a man of God? Does he care about God? Is he good to his mama? These are things you need to look for in a man, not how much money he makes or what kind of car he drives. But we're not teaching our young ladies that, and they're having worse luck in marriage than their moms did a lot of times. What Dear Abby ought to be saying to this grandmother is teach your granddaughter about healthy relationships, and that will benefit her in life, whether she ever gets married, has kids, whatever. You don't, and here's the interesting thing too. You teach these girls, you don't need no man. Okay. So, but they still want a man. They still want to have sex with somebody usually, right? So they have sex with a guy and they have a kid with a guy, but they don't marry the guy because they don't really trust guys, right? So it's not like you're telling your granddaughter never ever date. You're just saying be independent, don't need no man. Well, you still want a man for the other things. So if you're going to want a man for the sexual things and the benefits of that, don't you want a man for everything in your life? We are damaging our young ladies by giving them bad advice. And men, if you have daughters, please impart to them how important it is to look for character. Nothing else matters. Don't worry about what the other girls want. Find somebody with character and you found a great thing. And that's all that should matter. All right. I'm Heidi Harris. You can find me, Heidi Harris Show, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, all that good stuff. Heidi Harris Show. And I do an audio podcast too. And I'll do an audio podcast of this particular topic. I'll post that up and interviews and all kinds of good stuff. So please check it out at Heidi Harris Show. All the content's there at HeidiHarrisShow.com. See you guys.